3D printed house right here. You can see the layers of concrete. It's just like laying down icing on a cake. And they use a regular roof on top. Now, if you've never seen one of these new 3D printed houses up close, they're pretty cool. Kind of weird to be in one. Seems pretty stale in here. But I guess they have a way to make it feel homey. And it sure is cheap. And it sure is easy. I'm in a brand new neighborhood in Georgetown, Texas. They gotta find some way to make making homes easier here. Because in case you haven't heard, this little Austin suburb is now the fastest growing city in the country. I know. And you've probably never even heard of it before. But it's true. There are a lot of people coming to this part of Texas. I was on a big road trip here in the fall of 2023. I spent a month driving around this state. And in between the stops, we checked out all these growing suburbs all over. Take a drive 20 minutes outside of Austin or Dallas or Houston, and you get into these big, sprawling, expensive suburbs. They're all the rage for new people coming to this state. I wanted to see them up close. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to show you guys all the things I saw when I was here. So you can decide, number one, do I want to live in an upscale Texas suburb? And two, what are the best places to live in the country right now look like? Is this where America's middle class is headed? And do all these look like the best places to live in the country to you? Because the internet says Texas suburbs like this are what we all want, what we all need. Now, I'm pretty critical. You know me. I always want to find something to counter with. But you know what? All these Texas burbs are pretty damn cool to me. I get it. They're a hell of a lot better than a lot of the shitty places in our country right now. What is this place? We were just driving around in between suburbs one day. We pulled into McKinney, Texas. Now, this is all part of sprawl land outside of Dallas. I didn't really know much about McKinney, except everyone said it was nice. But damn, isn't this the coolest little downtown you've ever seen? What is this? Jeez. No hustle and bustle. Smiles on people. It's clean. No bums. I don't think there's been a bum here ever. It's like a perfect slate. Untouched. I can see why so many people want to be here. There's 200,000 people in McKinney right now. Looking at the downtown, I was like, this place is going to be overwhelmed soon. This little downtown looks like it was made for 30,000 people. That's because it was. Look at that population growth here. The number of transplants here has doubled in 20 years. A 500,000 people moved to Texas last year. That's like the whole population of Wyoming. And a lot of those families moved into neighborhoods just like this one in McKinney. They think 25% of the new transplants come here from California. Now, I'm not going to get into politics in this video, but Okay, I'm going to get into it a little bit. Number one, it's safer here. The income taxes are 0 in Texas. Schools are new and they're well run. You don't have smash and grabs, and they enforce the law. There's no graffiti and shit on the sidewalks. Neighbors like each other. Kids can walk home from football practice, won't get grabbed or shot. Moms can walk home from church. Just like America used to be. Except there aren't any Oldsmobiles in the driveways.
Futuramic design means styling with a purpose. The new 1948 Oldsmobile is the first of the Futuramic cars. It's designed for utmost passenger comfort and maximum visibility, as well as for smartness and style.
I think of all the burbs I saw outside of Texas's big cities, McKinney was my favorite. If you want the coolest, safest, newest place in Texas, and you got the bucks, I think you should move to McKinney. No shit. And by the way, if you need a realtor, I can help. I know real estate agents in McKinney who are great. I know realtors all over this state. Email me. It's not just McKinney, though. It's like this in dozens of suburbs outside of the big cities in Texas. Shit, there's 10 or 20 McKinneys just in the Dallas area. There's a lot more to see. Let's move on to another spot. Walking around this part of the Dallas metro area, and it is just sprawl, sprawl, sprawl. New, up and coming, traffic, but it's very clean, it's very safe, it's affordable, somewhat. But I can see why all the California people want to move here. It's the future of Texas. All around me. This is it, folks. That's me in Frisco, Texas, the next day. Now this place is blowing up too. You've probably heard about Frisco. It's maybe 20 minutes away from McKinney. Another can't grow fast enough suburb. The Frisco's grown even faster than McKinney has. They've doubled their population in only 13 years. They're on their way to 250,000 people now. A lot of it looks just like this. New neighborhoods in every direction. The American dream. Sidewalks, parks, good schools. You can get yourself a 3-bedroom, 2-bath and live on Easy Street. Well, not anymore, mister. And that's part of the problem that's happening in these burbs. In Frisco, the getting was good. And now the getting's getting tough. They have a housing shortage here. And affordability is not what it used to be. All these families that scrambled to the Texas burbs as fast as their SUVs could go. And they showed up and they were like, what? I can get this for that price? That's like half from where I live. And this place is like 4 times better. And then they called all their soccer mom friends and boom, we had a burb rush on. Now they've gone and done it. Ruined it for everyone else in line behind them. Home prices here have gone up 50% in the last 5 years. In some neighborhoods up here, home prices have doubled. Some say North Dallas is one big housing bubble shortage mess. I read a report that said 3 out of the top 4 most newly unaffordable suburbs are all in Texas. That doesn't sound like a best place to be, does it? Of course, it's not just the burb rushers that did this. A big part of our housing shortage in America are outside investing firms. Look up BlackRock, China, or Zillow. Buying up single-family homes has become an investment strategy that's paid big dividends at the expense of our shrinking middle class. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Look at all this construction. Jeez. My God. This is North Dallas suburbs for you. This is Texas sprawl up and close. It's happening all over this part of the Dallas metro area because everybody wants to be here. This is all very weird. It's like this construction land where there's nobody around. No beeps. No hustle and bustle. It's Sunday in future Frisco Square land. There's little mini construction zone lands all over this state. I think I saw more construction here in Frisco than I did any other burb I visited. Again, I asked the question, is this the best place to live in the country? Because that's what the internet says. That's what all the enthusiasm says. I mean, look at this Frisco website. And this is just one fancy new development they say is going in soon. God, it looks like the future. Doesn't look like Texas. Maybe it does. Frisco likes to brag that they're the sports hub for Texas, which seems absurd until you see this. Badminton? Frisco likes badminton so much, they have a badminton coliseum in town. No shit. Look at the size of that cock. Even have a website called Frisco Badminton, where they list all the people who have won all these awards for playing their entire lives. Dang, Frisco. And then there's this. You've probably heard of this. It's called the Star. It's the headquarters for the Dallas Cowboys. That's here. High school football here is huge. I cannot overstate that. And whenever some fancy new high school opens up and has a big stadium, all the rich parents scramble to get their kids in. But you better be smart. It's highly competitive. That thing is enormous. It's like a little mini college stadium. Frisco is the city we spent the most time in when we were driving around. There's some fun things to do in Frisco's little downtown, but I'd be bored here pretty fast. They have a few restaurants and bars and other social gathering places, but I'm sure they're going to fix that fast. I'm sure there's already a plan to blow this up even more. When we were here, we went to Babe's Chicken Dinner House. And this place is off the hook. Moose on the wall. Look at the chickens up there. Yes, the servers line dance here. I can't play the music because of copyright, but they're line dancing to Brooks and Dunn's Boot Scootin' Boogie. The menu here is the most simple menu I've ever seen. You get a chicken dinner. That's it. Comes with green beans, corn, and taters. Of course, I got extra taters. Very family-friendly place. They don't serve beer here, but you can bring your own. Never seen that before. They didn't tell me that until I already sat down and ordered myself a long neck Lone Star. They're like, you can go get some beer, but we don't have it for you. Well, anyway, that guy knew what he was doing. He's been here before. I was jelly of him. And your go-to bag here is a bag. I wound up giving that chicken to a stray dog outside of Amarillo the next day. Yeah, that's Babes. You like that?
Did you know CNBC said Texas is the worst place to live in the whole country?
Well, Mappy, I don't know if I believe that. I mean, look around. This place is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. And CNBC, what do they know?
That's where I get my news. They say the Mexicans hate Biden now.
Well, maybe they do know what they're talking about then. Just 20 minutes south of Frisco, it's the city of Plano, Texas. Now, you've heard of Plano. It's not a shiny new community like the first places we saw. It's one of the most established communities up here north of the Big D. Looks way different. Plano's an example of how the burb boom up here all got going in the first place. There were some down times in Dallas in the 70s and 80s when the U.S. economy tanked and the oil tanked. And crime went up in Dallas and just got crummy down there. So a lot of white people fled Dallas and came up here to live in Plano. You can see Plano just looks like a regular place. The area is starting to show its age. But this was the place to be in the 80s, I tell ya. This place was hoity-toity. But now it's been out-hoitied by everything else nearby. Main Street. It goes on and on up here. Somebody else told me I needed to check out a new booming burb called Roanoke. This place is about to blow up. Roanoke is Frisco and McKinney 20 years ago. You can drive around here and see how these places all got started before they blew up. Check out this downtown. Just the coolest, cleanest little downtown you've ever seen. So empty. So much potential. Won't be empty for too long, though. They did a poll, and Texans said, too much. Enough is enough. Half of them said, all this growth is bad. They say all these politicians brag about making all this bigger, but at the expense of the locals. Although, I don't know who's local anymore. But there's a lot to complain about. Higher property taxes, crowded roads, crowded schools. It's really hard to find childcare. The hospitals are overwhelmed. The bums are on their way one day. I'm sure about that. I read a story about how they were thinking about adding a train line up here from Dallas. Just extending it up here to the burbs. And all the people were like, no, we don't want that. It'll be a rolling homeless shelter. Not in my backyard. And of course, all this was conservative, but it's turning blue fast. Locals worry that the newcomers are going to bring their liberal drama with them. Although, I think most of the people coming here are coming because they're fleeing all that crap. But they still can't help themselves. They vote the same way. Maybe a lighter shade of blue is all. I'm not sure who's going to turn Texas blue faster. All the Latinos scrambling over the border or all the new soccer moms in town. Now, earlier I mentioned Georgetown. That's where we saw those 3D printed homes. I spent a day driving around the Austin suburbs as well. And sadly, it was a rainy, dreary day. Sorry about that. Georgetown's about a half hour north of Austin. I think most of the people moving here are fleeing Austin because the Texas capital's been overwhelmed with crime and bums. I did a whole video on that. Georgetown, this little place we're in right now, is now the fastest growing city in America. This place had 58,000 people in 2020. And they've added 20,000 more in just 3 years. That's a lot. They think the Austin metro area is going to get 1.5 more million people in the next 30 years. Good Lord. Georgetown has seen the same things that the other burbs have. Lots of growth, crowded schools, crowded roads. And then home prices shot up. They tripled here from $200,000 to $600,000 before they came back down again. But believe me, that's not going to last long. One internet study said, right here is the best U.S. housing market in the country for growth and stability. And that's just going to make the prices go up even more. Just like this video will too. Georgetown's nice. It's nice looking. It's growing. It's quiet. It's peaceful. It's all the other things people say they want in life. It's safe. Call the cops and they actually come. Can't say that about a lot of our cities anymore. Places like this are why Texas is growing faster than any other state. They say Texas is going to have 40 million people in 20 years. And then right next door is Round Rock, which was called the best place to live in the country last year. I know, it just keeps going on and on. Look at all these damn accolades for Round Rock, everyone. Best place to live. One of the best places to start a family. Best place for renters. One of the safest cities. One of the best places to retire. Best indoor water park. Second best baseball town. Quality of life, great economy. Best, y'all. Man. There's 130,000 people in Round Rock, but it doesn't really feel like that driving around. It's all spread out, like all the other booming, all the rage Texas burbs I saw on the trip. Where I'm driving around right now is just another regular neighborhood here. Seems normal. It's new and safe and nice and all the other things. Is it affordable? Kinda, I guess. These houses were close to 500,000 when I was here. But by the time you watch this, it'll be a lot higher than that. But it's still about 100,000 less to live here than it is in Austin. Because we're so close to Austin, you get a lot of younger, hipper, kind of techie types up here. There's a lot of good jobs up here with companies that you've probably heard of. Hardly anyone up here is out of work. That goes for all the burbs I showed you. Round Rock's the headquarters for Dell Computers, which moved here from Austin like 30 years ago. Dell is a big deal here. I heard that half of Round Rock's general fund comes from sales tax generated from Dell. I think I can even hear the servers whizzing inside. And of course the schools. Hello? 2/3 of the schools in Round Rock were given some type of "you did a good job" award. 95% of kids here finished high school. You don't finish high school in Round Rock, and you're in big trouble, mister. And don't forget, they have Round Rock donuts. This place is like world famous. But the line was so long, I didn't wait to try one. Sorry. I asked a friend of mine, his name's DeMarcus. He lives here. I was like, DeMarcus, you've been to a lot of places. Do you think Round Rock's the best place to live in the country? And he was like, no way. He thinks all this hype is just silly. Now, for those of you sickos who stuck it out for all the nice stuff, I'm going to reward you with some slums. Well, fancy burb slums. Now, this is where everyone I talked to agreed was the worst part of suburb land. It's the Round Rock Ghetto. Okay, this isn't even that bad. But here you go. If you look at stats, up here is not as safe as you might think it would be. I mean, it's safer than Texas as a whole. There's more crime here than you might think for it being called the best place to live. However, Williamson County has a reputation for cracking down on crime. So good for them. And by the way, these houses are all about $250,000, in case you care. Probably the most affordable place I saw in any of these burbs. And guess what? This is the closest neighborhood to Austin of all the places I visited. Why am I telling you that? I don't know. Not too long ago, where I'm standing right now was all cotton fields. But not a puff of cotton can I see now. Texas is changing. It's growing up right before our screens. Think about it. We could be seeing the final stages of our generation's reconstruction and the total death of the Southern identity and history by replacement. This big shift of people moving to Texas has set off a series of events. The voting patterns are changing. The migration patterns are changing. All of what I've just shown you is the most popular place to be in America today. But is all of this the best place to live now? Well, that's up for you to decide. I think it is. I mean, looking around at the way our big cities are crumbling, crime's out of control, and all the bad things going on in the country, well, this is a hell of a lot better than all that. Until this gets ruined one day too. Us Americans have a way of doing that to our nice stuff. So Round Rock was called like pretty much the best place to live this year. Mm-hmm. Does that surprise you at all?
A little bit, just because this is kind of like a quiet, like suburb kind of place. Like it's definitely like Austin is a very young city, and I feel like Round Rock is like where they go after they're like 30 something and have kids and want to go like live somewhere more chill. Mm-hmm. But it is really nice. Like I like leave my car unlocked all the time, and I never really had to worry about anything. Yeah, well, it's just nice, and people are nice up here, and it's pretty chill.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you have to worry about like homeless people and break-ins and like all the crap that comes with. Yeah, it's not here.
Yeah, no, I mean you do. Austin is like really bad. Like it's really getting parallel with like Portland and stuff like that. But we don't have any like bus systems out here, so they kind of can't get out here, which is not like the best because our public transportation is crap. But we also don't have lots of homeless people, so I don't know.
So what's the downside of living in a place like Round Rock?
There isn't a lot of like fun nightlife stuff. Like there is fun nightlife stuff, but it's like my dad's jam band and stuff like that. So you really have to go into Austin to see, you know, national touring bands and stuff like that. And like if you want to go out and drink, that Uber is going to be like $80, you know. So that's like the downside. Like,
yeah. How do people around here feel about, like, people are moving here? It's getting, I mean, there's housing developments all over, construction, traffic.
The traffic is terrible. Luckily, my hours of work are between noon and 8, so I kind of just miss them. But it's still, like, I live in North Loop in Austin, which is North Austin. It still takes me about, like, 35 minutes to get here if the traffic isn't bad. Sometimes it's, like, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. A lot there. 35, the Highway 35 is just endless construction and endless traffic. If you can take any other highway that loops around, even though it's a further distance, it's far less frustrating. But I've lived in the like Austin area for 15 years, and it's just gotten worse every year. When I first moved to Austin, I had a 3-bedroom duplex for like $11.25, and that same duplex is like $3,000 now. And it sucks because like as an artist, like I can't just keep raising my rates, because then the people who come to me and my clients, they can't afford those rates. So like I'm working less but making the same amount, and it just kind of doesn't help anything. So I don't know. I guess that's the downside.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.